富贵，人扬人民生活，今天胜利了。
From October the 1st, 1949 until today, the People's Republic of China has experienced 75 remarkable years. Over these 75 years, China has achieved numerous accomplishments that have amazed the world, charting an extraordinary path of Chinese-style modernization. In this new era, China is moving forward toward the goal of Chinese modernization. The recently concluded third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China introduced over 300 key reform initiatives, laying out a comprehensive plan for deepening reforms. On this new journey of Chinese-style modernization, a new blueprint for development is steadily unfolding. How should we understand China's modernization? On this comprehensive path to modernization, what are the different perspectives and reflections of leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers from around the world? In this edition of The Hub, we revisit this extraordinary journey of China's development, drawing insights from the impactful conversations my colleagues and I have had with global influencers over the past few years. Let's get ready to dive in. China's socialist construction has marked several key milestones, from the challenging beginning after its founding to today's prosperous growth. China's economy has surged to the forefront of the world, with a GDP exceeding 100 trillion yuan. China is the only country with a full range of industrial sectors. Over the past 75 years, with the living standards of Chinese have dramatically improved, per capita disposable income has surged to nearly 40,000 yuan. After adjusting for inflation, that is a real increase of 75.8 times, with an average annual growth of 6%.
You have also praised China's development approach as example for Ethiopia. So in what way do you find China's approach and solution helpful and inspiring?
I have seen the Chinese living standard of the 1970s, 1980s, till I left China as a student. I know most of Chinese people were very, very modest life. Yes. Everybody was on bike. But now what I see is maybe out of 1,000 Chinese, maybe 300 have got vehicles, if I'm correct. Yeah, that's what the impression. So people benefited from the reform. People benefited from the modernization.
China has also achieved the world's largest poverty alleviation campaign, lifting hundreds of millions of people out of poverty.
同志们、朋友们，今天我们隆重召开大会，庄严宣告，经过全党、全国各族人民共同努力，我国脱贫攻坚战取得了全面胜利。
Since the 18th Party Congress, China has pushed poverty alleviation with unprecedented efforts. By the end of 2020, all rural residents under the current poverty line had been lifted out of poverty, marking a significant contribution to global poverty reduction campaign.
It is total elimination of extreme poverty in a country so big, and then moving from a poor rural agriculture economy to a superpower in technology, in medical equipment, and anything.
We saw the result of the work he had done in those villages in the first day of our visit. Very, very encouraging. And the people there are living very happily. There is no more signs of poverty.
China has contributed over 70% to global poverty reduction, with more than 70% of those lifted out of poverty worldwide since reform and opening up being in China, based on the World Bank's poverty line of $1.9 per day. Witnessing China's great progress, many leaders have expressed their admiration and respect.
Há 50 anos atrás, ninguém acreditava que a China pudesse chegar em 2023 com a potência que a China é. A China é uma potência em quase todas as áreas da atividade econômica. A China é uma potência hoje em ciência, em tecnologia, em produção, e eu acho que engenharia.
My first visit to China was more than 40 years ago, so I have really a long experience how China evolved to the peaceful rise of China from one of the developing countries, a poor country today, one of the big three, together with America, China, and Europe. This is a remarkable success.
In China's modernization, the rise of high-speed rail has made a real impact. It has accelerated the country's development, linking regions through a vast high-speed rail network. Long-distance travel has become easy and enjoyable, a striking symbol of China's growth, recognized worldwide.
I heard from the Prime Minister of China, both of them said, if we go to Shanghai, we prefer to go by train. And I think, the instinct would be to say plane is faster. But this is as fast. It is very, expression of a modernity, which I think is speaking well of China.
We understand that you took the bullet train from Shanghai to Beijing.
Yes.
May I ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your experience of the train ride?
9.99999.
Infinite.
Infinite, really. I mean, I've taken bullet trains in other parts of the world. The experience does not compare to what I experienced on the train between Shanghai and Beijing.
The Beijing-Shanghai high-speed rail is the world's longest and most advanced project, completed in just one go. Since its launch on June 30th, 2011, it has transported over 1.52 billion passengers. As a benchmark for Chinese high-speed rail, it has witnessed China's pursuit of progress. Now, after its domestic success, China's high-speed rail is expanding globally to support further development.
The Bandung, for example, Jakarta-Bandung speed train. Now, this is a public good project. Will benefit the people of Indonesia, will benefit the people of ASEAN, will benefit the visitors, the tourists that come into Indonesia, for example, take advantage of this great public service, public infrastructure that has been built, operated.
I can say that was a big idea. Then I went to China and we had a first train ride. It was 300 kilometers per hour between the section between Beijing and Tianjin, if I'm not mistaken. And then we started dreaming about our high-speed railway in this region. And this is the best and the fastest section in this southeast part of Europe.
Behind the rise of high-speed rail and mega projects is rapid technological advancement.
Every time I come back, I'm astonished at the visible changes, of course, with enormous construction and infrastructure, but also the enormous growth of the scientific community, the growth of the universities, the training, the number of young students who are anxious to do great science.
In cutting-edge fields like telecommunications, clean energy, and new energy vehicles, China's strong innovation capabilities are shaping global trends.
The President Xi Jinping said China will hit this carbon neutrality by 2060. President Xi Jinping has announced that China would build to use clean energy. I think this is the most ambitious target, and which I applaud and I commend.
Las energías estas que hasta ahora tenemos en el Perú, y por eso felicitamos, por ejemplo, toda la plataforma automotriz en Shenzhen es casi al 100% de vehículos electrónicos. Ya no tienen emisiones de carbono, que ese es el paso a donde hay que llegar y llevar a nuestras naciones a efectos de cuidar el único planeta que tenemos, que es el...
Images may appear to be identical, but looks can be deceiving. The difference is not always obvious. It has to be discovered. There are always different sides to a story. We put the focus on the details. To see more, to understand better. CGTN. See the difference.
China has not only made great strides domestically, but also established itself as a responsible global power. Today, China has diplomatic relations with 182 countries, nearly 100 of which are its partners, and maintains close cooperation with regional organizations like the EU, the African Union, and the ASEAN. The Belt and Road Initiative was launched in 2013. Over the past decade, under its guidance, China has established partnerships with over 150 countries and more than 30 international organizations. This initiative has significantly enhanced the development and capabilities of participating countries and regions, fostering closer global connections and interactions.
The region needs infrastructure, the infrastructure needs financing. China is capable of doing that, of building infrastructure. It can also help to provide the financing. It can also develop the trade and economic links with the countries in the region. And with the Belt and Road Initiative, there's a framework within it which this can be done. With China within our region, the biggest economy, it's important that we develop that relationship in an open and sustainable and, I think, mutually beneficial way. So we saw the Belt and Road Initiative from that light, and therefore we decided that we should say, yes, it makes sense, we support it.
Talking about connectivity and infrastructure projects, how do you look at the merits of the Belt and Road Initiative?
You know, one of the targets for our development was to transform Azerbaijan into one of the regional centers for connectivity. Because if you look at the map, you'll see the geographical advantages of Azerbaijani geography, which is situated just on routes from north to south and east to west and backwards. But lack of transportation infrastructure actually created a situation that our geography was not used. For that, we are actively working also with our Chinese partners and our neighbors to establish this infrastructure connectivity and also administrative connectivity.
Nos últimos anos, Angola tem construído aproveitamentos hidroelétricos de grande dimensão, a tal ponto que, neste momento, o consumo da energia que produzimos tanto está abaixo do produzido. Já estamos com necessidade de vender energia.
Et nous avons, dans le cadre de ces projets, la ceinture, la route, le projet de relier l'océan Indien à l'océan Atlantique par la route. Et cette route de Mombasa va passer par l'Ouganda avec des bretelles au Rwanda pour atteindre le fleuve Congo. Ce n'est pas une vue de l'esprit, et cela est en cours. Et nous pensons que les infrastructures de ce genre, l'Afrique doit les avoir pour lancer le projet de la zone de libre-échange continentale, la ZLECAf, lancer ce projet. La ceinture et la route, vous voyez, c'est tout cela. Voilà pourquoi j'ai dit que le président Xi Jinping a la vision.
At the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation held last year, President Xi Jinping solemnly announced 8 actions that China will take to support the high-quality joint development of the Belt and Road, further advancing the initiative into a new era.
10年栉风沐雨，10年春华秋实，共建“一带一路”，源自中国，成果和机遇属于世界。
In 2023, China's total imports and exports reached $5.94 trillion, marking its 7th consecutive year as the world's largest goods trading nation. Many countries have benefited from trade relations with China. They found a large market for their high-quality products or benefited from China's wide range of products that have raised living standards. Platforms like the Canton Fair, CIIE, and CIFTIS have strengthened global business ties with China. Chinese-made goods have earned global recognition, while international products have made greater access to the China market.
Well, we are an agricultural country, and we have a lot of products, from tea to coffee to cashew nut, and you name it, we have it in Tanzania mainland. But Zanzibar is specifically famous for spices. So we had some spices like cloves, which are the Zanzibar cloves are the best in the world, actually. So they were displayed here. So it was a good forum to see all the products that can be sold in the Chinese market were here and well represented, and it was a good thing to see that there's a lot of interest from the Chinese side to start buying these products.
And the genius of the Chinese is this. The Chinese, they study the world market. They know there is like, 2 billion people who are poor, whose purchasing power is like $2, $3, $5 a day. So they produce for this market of throughout Asia, Africa, and even in Europe. Doesn't mean they produce only these shoes and these cheap, no, of course, high tech as well. So only the Chinese can do that, supply the entire planet with goods that are accessible to the poorest people. That is the genius of the Chinese.
As a permanent member of the UN Security Council, China consistently upholds the UN-centered international system and defends the legitimate rights of developing nations. Faced with global conflicts and slow economic growth, China has introduced 3 major initiatives to offer constructive solutions and foster dialogue and cooperation among civilizations.
I regard them very positively. And in general, of course, Kazakhstan supports the initiatives put forward by President Xi Jinping. And I think that we need to talk about implications, positive implications of the implementation of these initiatives. But I have no doubts about the positive impacts on developing the world, which must be free of discrimination, of sanctions, of pressure. So the world must be full of good spirit, friendship and cooperation.
Je pense qu'il est très important, en effet, de proposer des initiatives pour la gouvernance mondiale. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes un peu dans une impasse avec une gouvernance mondiale qui est à la fois bloquée et souvent déséquilibrée. Et donc, je pense qu'il est important de trouver des perspectives et de pouvoir lancer un certain nombre d'idées nouvelles. La difficulté que nous avons aujourd'hui, c'est que la tension, souvent militaire, qui s'installe dans l'ensemble des pays, aujourd'hui empêche le monde de regarder l'avenir de manière paisible et assurée. La Chine a raison de s'engager dans des perspectives et des initiatives nouvelles, mais pour cela, il faut un monde apaisé, il faut une Europe en paix, il faut une Afrique sereine, il faut des pays qui peuvent penser à la coopération plus qu'aux tensions. C'est ça aujourd'hui le grand enjeu. Plus de coopération et moins de tensions.
China is the world's largest developing country and a key member of the Global South. At the recent Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit known as FOCOG, President Xi Jinping announced the elevation of China-Africa relations to an all-weather community with a shared future for the new era, taking China-Africa cooperation to new heights. This milestone sets a new model for Global South cooperation as China advances the vision of a global community of shared future.
中华人民共和国即将迎来75周年华诞，正坚定不移以中国式现代化全面推进强国建设、民族复兴伟业。非洲也正经历新的觉醒，朝着非盟2063年议程描绘的现代化目标稳步迈进。中非共筑现代化之梦，必将掀起 全球南方现代化热潮，谱写构建人类命运共同体的崭新篇章。
75 years since its founding, the People's Republic of China has transformed itself from backwater to an economic powerhouse. The country now embarks on a new journey as it navigates a complex global landscape, shifts to high-quality development, and advances modernization through deeper reforms and a revolutionary innovation. Join CGTN as we chronicle China's milestones from more than 7.5 decades of growth and transformation. Our special report, New China, 75 years on, only on CGTN.
Images may appear to be identical, but looks can be deceiving. The difference is not always There are always different sides to a story. We put the focus on the details. To see more, to understand better. CGTN. See the difference.
Now, China's remarkable journey has set the stage for future progress. The path of peaceful development as a new model of growth is widely recognized.
Essa é uma moderação muito galompante. China é um modelo mundial. Isso é inquestionável. Ninguém pode pôr em causa, portanto, a capacidade rápida do desenvolvimento da China. Hoje, a China é o modelo do mundo, né? Em questões da diplomacia e também no desenvolvimento. E sempre que uma pessoa sai da China, quando volta, vê uma coisa que mudou pela positiva. Isso demonstra, de facto, a capacidade do governo e do povo chinês na construção.
At the same time, witnessing China's development has strengthened the confidence of leaders from around the world that China will continue down on the right path and achieve even greater success.
A great nation of yours, thousands of years of civilization, of history, of war, of triumph. What a great country you are, of hard-working people, of people who are present all over the world. Probably one of the people who are more present in the world. And not only now, going back many centuries when Chinese admirals went around the world, and when Chinese merchants went to Timor-Leste in the 14th century. With great reverence that I congratulate Chinese people on these memorable times for China.
75 years. It's a huge, huge plus to the Communist Party of China. It's a huge country with a huge population, but the Communist Party of China has been able to continue working on the correct line of the revolution and carrying everybody. You are impressed by the policies of the Communist Party of China.
أول حاجة نهنئ الشعب الصيني بهذه الذكرى. نتمنى لكل الصينيين الكتر في العدد والفاعلين في العالم أن كل الخير وكل الاستقرار وكل الهناء. أقول لهم أنتم تحققون وتكسرون جميع المعادلات التطوير والتنمية والتقدم بمعادلة كثير منها يراها أنها هي صعبة، ولكن اليوم تحققت في الصين وما زالت تتحقق.
I congratulate China on its 75 years of this great journey, and next year we celebrate 50 years of our own diplomatic relations. And I, this afternoon, had conveyed an invitation from my president to your president, if you could, on one of his overseas trips next year, make a detour and call on Fiji. We would like to celebrate with him our 50 years of diplomatic relations.
Olha, desejo que ela continue crescendo. A China hoje é um fator indutor do crescimento da economia mundial. Então, quando a China vai bem, quando a China cresce, o mundo inteiro se beneficia, não só os chineses. Ela é um dos motores da economia mundial. Nós temos muita convicção de que a China vai continuar crescendo como fez nessas últimas décadas, e isso é positivo, é benéfico para todo mundo.
Я считаю, что все люди Китая, в том числе и руководители Китайской коммунистической партии, руководители правительств, хотят одного, чтобы люди народа Китая, их соседи, все люди планеты Земля жили бы в достатке. Мы очень хотим, чтобы в Китайской Народной Республике было мир и процветание, и наши взаимоотношения всегда были бы на таком высшем стратегическом, всеобъемлющем, всестороннем, всеподдерживающем друг друга курса мира и счастья.
Well, congratulations, and that this should represent a moment of a renewed, deep commitment of China with multilateralism and with the UN, which represents two traditional ways of China to assert itself in the world.
Now, looking ahead, China will continue embracing openness and cooperation, working with global partners to face new challenges and create a brighter future for all. This new chapter offers everyone the chance to share in development opportunities, for nations to achieve prosperity, and for civilizations to break down barriers and prejudices through dialogue.